chopper power. This the 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 chopper power. Yo, I am Fattman, and this is the chopper power. In the building today with Elainathepoet. Man, what's up, man? Came in here looking good, smelling good. Amazing.
I feel like we done had our whole little podcast situation before we even started the
Real
podcast.
shit. Real shit. Hey.
If they only knew, we done already been chopping it up for like an hour.
Hey, behind the scenes is good. Behind the scenes is good.
Correct.
Now, how you doing tonight?
I am blessed, and this is the truth.
How was your work week?
So, my work week actually was kind of smooth. You know, I'm a poet, and I'm a professional poet, so I do a lot of poetry. And this week was interesting because I had a 2-day event in Miami, in Wynwood, where we did what is called Pekachuka Miami, which is the Japanese version of TED Talk.
Okay.
And everything I do with poetry, all things poetry is a gift. And I basically, I had, whenever I'm doing it, it's such a blessing. So when it's added in my work week, I am just so fulfilled when I have to go out and plant these seeds and put them back into God's people. So my week was good.
Hey, you get it better than that, man. You laid that out, man.
My week was good.
Elaine, I want to ask you, where you from originally?
So I am from Fort Lauderdale. I was originally born in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, that's like the country part of Florida. But I do have like what people would consider to be a southern accent. So most people want to know where I'm from. But I was born in Fort Pierce, and then I was raised between Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. Beautiful
so I'm
thing.
a Floridian to the core, and I have never, ever, I was born here. So I'm a real Floridian.
Straight up, man. Straight up, man. We're going to get right to it, man. This poetry thing. You went to school for theater or anything like that?
So, I did. I actually went to Florida Memorial College. And, well, what it was Florida Memorial College in the day, it's university now.
Right.
But when I was there, shout out to the Lions and all my people. I went with a major in music and a minor in vocals. And I've always been very creative. I was in drama and all these different things. So that was something that I carried with me throughout my life. And honestly, it didn't leave me with a choice except to activate and use it. And so, yeah.
Okay. What poetry thing? When did it bite you in the butt, man?
Well, I think we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. But I officially realized that I had something in 2006.
Okay.
I used to go to this spot called Voices and Vibes at Troy's liquor store.
Okay.
And it was ran by Terry Meredith, who is a staple in the poetry community. She is now known as Terry the Illustrator.
Okay.
Because she's an artist, an freaking amazing artist.
Shout out to Terry.
Terry Ray. You know Terry?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, shout out to Terry.
Shout out to Terry.
So she used to host it, and I used to go there. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I would go to those spots at the time, back in 2006, I was going through a breakup with who is now my ex-husband. I was going through a breakup, and I was in such a broken phase. But every time I would write, I could put down what I felt on a piece of paper and then read it back. And then I always wondered, I wonder how this will affect somebody else. Because, when I write it down and I read it back and I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm trying to get across. And I always wanted to be deep. And I felt like the deepest you could go is the soul. I feel like you can't get no deeper than the soul of a man or a woman.
Right.
And so I'm like, God, I always wanted to. So when I would go to Troy and I would do these poems, I would go with such a closed mind. It was really my therapy. I didn't care what anybody else was there for. Pretty much nothing they were saying before they went up before me. I just wanted to hear my name called on the so I could go up there and do my poems.
Right.
And when I would get up there and do my poems, I would get reactions from the audience, which I never really expected. You know, you go up there and you just want to do your poems because you think they're doable in front of people, but at the same time, unconsciously in your mind, you're like, I wonder if this is good. You know, I wonder what people think of this that I'm saying.
Right.
And but because my poems have always been written from a deeper place, when I'm writing or performing them, I'm always in that moment, in that second, in what I'm saying. So I'm not too concerned about the people. But when people would come up to me afterwards and say, man, you really touched me. Or, man, that thing you said, man, I almost cried. And I'm like, huh? You know, okay, you know, this is supposed to be for me. Right. But wait, it's for somebody else, you know? And even then, in that day, in time, in that space in my life, I didn't realize what I had and what I was working with.
Right.
I just accepted that, okay, I can do some more poems because people like them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Never really seen where this could go, what it has to offer, and not seeing past the moment.
Right.
You know?
It seemed to me with poetry, right? I don't know a whole lot about the poetry, so I was really looking forward to sitting with you tonight to kind of get a little bit of idea how it works, right? You spoke about heartbreak. Okay. To me, I would say heartbreak would be like the gateway of someone expressing their feelings deep down inside, outside of maybe let's say another gateway probably would be drugs, a drug addiction, maybe sexual addiction, maybe people that's killers and things of that nature. I would think heartbreak would be like the gateway to poetry, of people unpacking some stuff that they might be thinking and being able to paint such a picture to make the audience, to captivate an audience. Let's say that.
I would have to agree to a certain extent, and I agree up until I agree where you say it has to be the gateway. But I'll just take it a little step further and say that everything in life that brings us to a place of vulnerability or of hurt or of realization that we don't have the answers, or we lack knowledge, is a space where God can manifest in our lives. And so with poetry being one of those tools that I realized God had gave me the skill to be able to do, served as a stepping stone for my pain. But what I realized about it, and the reason why I say that is because what my writing style, I didn't want to dwell in pain. You see, I realized as I go through this journey, a lot of poets write about pain, they write about hurt, and that's it. So you get to hear about their hurt and you get to hear about their pain in a very organized and creative way, but that's it. You don't get an answer in the poem. You don't get a resolution. You don't get to know what to do after that with all this pain. What do I do now? And so that's where I specialize, because God has given me the ability to write the poem and provide the answer in the poem.
Okay, understood. Wow, man, I don't know a lot about poetry, so when you're saying that you don't get an answer, you basically get feelings and thoughts of that moment that they put on paper.
Things that trigger your thoughts and make you think, and even acknowledge how dope they are as a writer to be able to word things that way, you know, and say, wow, that person's pretty skilled and stuff, and then give them their accolades while they, you know, yet live or what have you. But for me, it became more and more about purpose, because I realized it really is God's work. It really is God's work. When you're dealing with people's hearts and their minds and stuff like that, that is a very special place that you cannot take for granted. You cannot take lightly. So then I realized, you know how they always say, you know, you are what you can't. You do what you do, but you are not what you do. Meaning, like, what you do for your job, what you do for a living, that's not who you are. That's just what you do to make money. for me, it's different. I have to be what I say I am.
Embody it.
I got to live this thing because in order to be it means that I have to tap into a different spiritual realm. In order to be able to get the visions and for God to reveal certain things to me throughout this process so that I am able to be effective in this work.
So let me ask you, how do you create daily? So you go with daily things that may take place during the day if you want to create new content for poems and things of that nature. How does that work?
Well, in the beginning stages, when I first started writing, what I used to do to sharpen my craft is I would write about anything. You could give me something to write about, tell me to write about a shoe, a bottle of perfume, a window, the rain, the sun. And I would try to write a poem about all of those things and try to write the most skillful poem. But what I realized along the way is it's some amazing writers out there.
No doubt.
And it's some people that do not play with words. They come to slay you with words. And you be like bar after bar after bar. And so it's like, okay, Elaina, what is it that you're doing this for? Because you might not be the best lyricist. You might not be the best writer, but you can sing and you can write. And so how do I put this together? So for me, it became about God, what do you want me to do with the gift? Because at first it was, how can I perfect my skills? How can I write better and this, that, and the other? But when I realized you can't compete with some of these people that's so good out here.
It's not a competition,
and,
right?
But for some of us, it is. For some people, it is a competition. Staying above and, keeping your skills sharpened, doing all these things to show and prove that you are the best and that you are better than the majority. You understand? So yeah, that is the mindset that even if you don't start off that way, it becomes a part of your journey because people will put you in a place where you feel like, I'm the best.
Gotcha.
Because you can do something they can't do. Mm-hmm. And so anytime people acknowledge that you're able to do something they can't do, a lot of people's mind can't take that type of love and energy and process it and it still remain humble within themselves. It becomes a competition.
I would have never seen that in that realm. Mm-hmm. I would see it in comedian stuff, and I guess it is in so many words in a lot of different genres of whatever we do on our day to day. But
right.
Is spoken word the same? Is spoken word the same as poetry?
So no, it's actually not. Spoken word is more of a dramatic delivery.
Body language?
It is theatrics. It is your delivery. Spoken word is the way you deliver the poem. And
through body language or no?
Body language is included, absolutely, because when we are embodying or when we're delivering a spoken word piece, there's no way to deliver a spoken word piece without using the body, without using a form of very passionate expression to get across this particular thing, because spoken word is like poetry to the 10th power by way of delivery.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I had to call it spoken word, because it's spoken in such a powerful form that it couldn't be considered as prestigious or as conservative as the word poetry itself. And there's all different types of poetry where you have people, readers of poetry. You have people who sit in literature, discuss literature and just talk about the poems or read the poems or just recite the poems. And then you have people that recite other people's poems in these different types of settings. But when you talk about spoken word, that's just like a next level. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably believe that only black people perform spoken word.
When you say black people, you mean the culture, black culture?
I believe that black poets
do spoken word.
I believe, now you'd have to show me a white spoken word poet, but I believe that in this America, on this side of Google, it's only it's only black spoken word artists.
Right. Do poets get booed on stage?
I've never seen it.
Never seen it.
I have gone to a I don't know if you're familiar with the Lyric Theater.
I'm not.
A monumental theater. It's called the Black Archives Theater. It's located in Miami in Overtown, and it is a historic theater, and you should look it up.
Definitely.
And find out about it. But they do a lot of stuff there, and they have their what is almost like their version of the Apollo Theater, where the Apollo where they would boo you and stuff like that. So here at the Lyric Theater, you go and perform, and then if you brought your audience and you brought your crowd, they could probably outstand the boos. But I've gone there and performed poetry before, and I almost got booed.
Really?
Yeah, but it wasn't until I opened my mouth and really projected and started blowing on them that they had to be quiet.
Blowing as far as singing?
Yeah, like really go on, like going hard, because it's like, wait, hold on.
So you left the poetry realm and went to singing?
Well, my poems are a combination of singing and poetry.
Okay.
So it's a mixture. So throughout my delivery, at some point you'll get poetry, you'll get song. You'll get poetry, you'll get song. I'm in and out throughout my delivery.
Is it like painting a picture then, basically?
I tell you a story.
Tell me.
You say tell me. I tell you a story and I take you on this journey. Shout out to everybody that's watching right now. Wave. I take you on a journey through my delivery, which allows for you to be able to be right there every second of my delivery.
Gotcha.
That I'm there, and God has given me the ability to do that. Take you on a journey through my voice. Yeah.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit about the jazz. What was that? Bring the jazz?
Hi, Grandma. Elainathepoet brings the jazz. Yes. So that was a dope one. I did that at the Broward Center Performing Arts. Shout out to the world famous Broward Arts Theater. They were so amazing.
It's a big venue.
That was huge. World class.
Yeah, I thought the graduation was there.
That's world class. And that's where we took Elainathepoet brings the jazz. And so we sold out. There was no seats left. Everybody was standing in the building. And they even wrote reviews about me on Ticketmaster.
Really?
Really? I was so crazy shocked, right? But they gave great reviews. And there's not one person that I've heard from or that has reached out or contacted me that tells me that show left them with a feeling they can't describe. And they want more.
What was the capacity in that place, Elaine?
So in there, the capacity is about 2.
Oh, wow.
In that theater is about 2. In that room that we had, the Abdul River room.
Okay.
Is about 2.
Is that the one that R&B Teddy Bear was at?
Yeah, he was at my show.
Yeah, I had him on the show.
He featured with my artist Reese Wright.
Okay.
And shout out to Reese Wright. But yeah, he featured with her, and he came up during her set and did a little something for the people. So that was cool.
I thought I saw that y'all had like a little singing battle or something. It looked like something y'all was singing against each other. So if that was you, I thought that was you.
She had her background singer do a little something funky to give the people a little teaser, you know. It made for an amazing show.
How long was the show?
So the show was from 7 to 9.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. And everybody who tells me about it says, it was just enough of everything, not too much of anything. Everything is proportion perfect.
Balance. It's life. Right?
It was God. It wasn't me. Right. It was a God production.
So did you produce it yourself, or you just kind of?
I did. God gave me the vision. I wrote the show. So let me tell you how it happened. I knew I needed to come up. I knew I was going to do a show, but I knew I needed to come up with the order of the show. How would it go? And I knew who was going to be in it. But I needed the vision itself and how the show was going to go. So God gave it to me one Tuesday. He gave it to me one Tuesday, and I needed to go to Dillard high school and see what performing arts students I could get to be a part of this project.
Okay.
Because I graduated from Dillon, class 98, shout out. And I said, you know, me being performing arts, stuff like that, what about getting some of the students involved? So I tried to figure out a way to incorporate students in this where it could still be powerful, effective. So you know we had the basis of the show was an ode to Jill Scott because Jill is a poet and a singer.
Definitely.
And so, and I love her. And if I had to say I love anybody that does this, it's her. You understand? And so I wanted to do an ode to her. So the vision came to me, and God gave me these little Jill Scott skits that I could write. And he said for the students. And so I was like, okay, this student, that student. And I didn't know if it was going to be a girl or boy, how many students it was going to be. But he gave me this skit. Then he was like, then the host will do this. And then this person will come up. This is the song this person needs to sing. And all this stuff was coming to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before, and Bible study is on Tuesdays. And I needed to be in Bible study by 8, from 8 to 9. So this stuff started coming to me like around 7 o'clock that night on a Tuesday. So when my car was coming through so clear, right? And I'm like, damn, okay. And everything was being proportioned in the right place. Then 8 o'clock came, and well, a little bit before 8, I was like, God, you know I'm getting ready to go to Bible study. I'm like, please don't let me lose this. Like, I gotta go in Bible study, but what I don't want to do, I don't want to go inside of Bible study and not pay attention. I don't want to not get what is the message that's there for me because I'm there. But with all this stuff moving in my head and this stuff moving around in the show, I said, I need you to hold this for me.
I can write it down.
So I'm done. I wasn't in a place to write down right then.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need you to hold this for me until I'm done. So I went to Bible study. I stayed for an hour. I was able to focus and pay attention. I tell you, no lie, as soon as I got out, it picked right back up in my head.
There it is.
And I was like, okay, I need to get home. As soon as I got home, I plugged up the laptop, got to it, and when I tell you, I got home like around 9:30. And my fingers did not stop typing until almost about 12 o'clock that night. I typed the entire show on Tuesday.
How about that? Wow. That's amazing, man. That's where it was given, you know?
You know? And there was a few tweaks here and there as time went on.
Of course.
But he gave me the show.
Of course.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to speed past this. Jill Scott, listen, man. My wife gave me a hall pass, man.
No. Oh.
I love that album cover. We had the leather jacket on in the purse.
Oh,
I'm still, right now, I'm in awe of you, man. I would love to meet you.
So beautiful, so dope. I love Jill.
Hey, shout out to Jill Scott.
With him one day.
Shout out to Jill Scott.
Shout out to Jill.
Definitely, man. I'm telling you, I'm a fan of your fashion as well.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Where did you pick that up from along the way?
What?
Your fashion, yeah. I feel like you're very dialed in.
I think it's just being creative and automatically seeing what I know looks good on me.
Okay.
And having learned my body, I've always been full figured, and I was way more fuller when I was in college. And then after I got out of college, I started to lose weight, and I had my baby, and I really wanted to get the weight off me. But I've always known how to dress being big, in the middle, and so on and so forth. So certain times, especially with this, and it is a journey, y'all. But with this, I tell you, sometimes I'll get a thing, and it'll say, your makeup should be this way. You should wear that tomorrow with those shoes and that purse. And then when I get it, and it'll all come together, they'll be like, oh, I'll be like, y'all, I tell you, no lie, I be trusting God the whole way.
You're good at it. You're good at it.
The whole way.
Man, I love it, man. I love it, man. I went to scroll through your page. You still got some fashion sense, man. He's dialed into something, man. Beautiful thing, man. Let me ask you about poems, right? Mm-hmm. When you write these poems, how long it take you to memorize them?
So, my poems are sometimes 800 to 1,000 words.
Okay. How long is that time frame?
And that,
how many minutes is that?
Because I don't like to read when I'm performing. If I know I'm performing something new, I give myself at least a month to practice it.
That routine.
Get it flawless before I actually perform it. Because I don't read. professional and I move around. I do a lot with my hands. So a good 30 days allows for me to really have it. And that just means me riding around every time I'm in my car, every chance I get, I'm reciting and rehearsing and trying to remember the words to my poem. And I always get it and remember it within a certain time, but it's the consistent practicing, the consistent, learning my words. And that comes from wanting to know my poems, because for me, they're not finished until I know them.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Cause see, you spoke about consistency just now, man. I everything I do, man, I try to be consistent.
Oh, that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
It is.
You can't get in the door without consistency.
No doubt about it.
I mean, you might can get in, but you ain't staying in. You just in.
Right. I totally agree. Man, is it hard staying motivated on the day to day?
Is it hard staying motivated? No. It's not hard to stay motivated. What's hard is life around you, even though you're motivated. The hardest thing is still moving and pushing forward, understanding that you're doing what you're doing for purpose, with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. But realizing that this person might pass away on this particular day out of the blue and you didn't even see it coming. Or this bill might pop up and you didn't have the money to take care of that. Or this situation happened, or the child, or the this, or the that. So it's not hard to stay motivated when you're doing what you love. What's hard is life around you and being able to remain focused on that thing that motivates you.
Right.
You understand? Because a lot of people have a thing that they love and it motivates them, and then they allow life to stop them. Even though they're still motivated, motivating is the thought process of where it starts. But to actually put that thing in the atmosphere, move on it, and do it, and be consistent about it, takes drive, will, determination, and the ability. And all these things are something that, don't just come. They are things that, build over a course of time. Because it's been times where I was tired and didn't want to go because it was so late and I was so tired. But I know that for what I do, I have to go. For what I'm trying to do, I need to be there in that place. And so I need to wake up. I need to get dressed. And I need to go. And then when I'm there, I realize it wasn't that hard. So, you can be motivated watching the Golden Girls. But
You like that show?
I used to love that show.
Really?
You can be motivated watching them, but that motivation don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you move.
Right. You definitely gotta move, man. What's next for Elaina, man? The poet.
All things poetry is a gift, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you hashtag poetry is a gift on Instagram, it's gonna be me that's gonna pop up. And that's gonna be over 1,000 and some posts, because poetry truly is a gift. The gift that continues to give. Even when I pass, it will continue to give to you and the people that are here, and my daughter and all these people. And so what's next for me is whatever God says is next for me. I don't make any decisions in my life, because on this journey I realized that I can't even see what's ahead. I don't know what's up there waiting for me. I don't know what's a few blocks down the road waiting to stall and trip me up and stop my progress. I have no idea. And as much as I condition myself to say, I want to do this, I will do this, I don't have the ability to give myself to do it. Only God. Only God can give me even the ability to do it. The functioning of my legs, the functioning of my hand, the proper working of my brain, and all these things. So I'm trusting Him. But what I know about my next step is great.
Great help. I like your energy.
Thank
you. Really
you.
do, man.
Thank you.
Who introduced you to God, man? I see you speaking highly about the Father, and who introduced you?
So I was raised in the church, and for a lot of our southern folk, I want to say our black people, our melanated, a lot of us are raised in the church and in southern homes and backgrounds where Christianity is the base of how we're being taught, or we know the Bible is the book that we need to read, and Jesus is the man that we need to call. But life brought me to a place where not even what I was raised to believe was as important to me as the trials that life brought me. And life brought me a lot of trials because I was making a lot of bad choices. And a lot of times we don't realize the choices that we're making are bad until the result of our choices happen. And so when our choices begin to happen, or the results of our choices begin to happen to us, we be having to sit back and be like, you know, I should have did this, and I should have did that, or I should have did that, but only to realize that we never have the answers. Not the right ones anyway.
Right.
You understand? Then I realized there's a lot of books that are written out there, a lot of things, a lot of information, a lot of facts, a lot of stuff that you can look into what somebody else said.
Research.
But I realized that even these people have issues. Even these people are confused. And what is their source of information? What is giving them the answers to their questions when life happens to them?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And so how is it that these people have provided us with all these tools that will help us when in fact they don't have the original manual for how the brain really functions? Because the doctor can only work off of what you tell him.
Right.
But God is the great designer of the brain.
No doubt.
And so for this reason, I think I'm gonna trust him. And so on my journey, I had to realize, man, you gotta go back and do that thing for yourself. Not what you was taught, not just what was, implanted in you, but what is your connection to him for yourself. And then I realized that, some people walk around and be like, oh, I'm a real spiritual person.
Right.
I'm real spiritual. But you can be spiritual in a lot of forms because we're a spiritual being.
No doubt.
But what I realized is that you have to have a relationship with God. And life brought me in a place where I was down on my knees trying to figure out how to be friends with God, to wherein I didn't have to feel these feelings that people were giving me anymore. And so my walk with him really strictly came from heartbreak and him showing me, and then you study the Bible and you get closer and you do these different things. But it don't come overnight.
Of course it don't.
It don't come overnight.
It's work like anything else, man. Man, Elaina, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
That's like the third cup of wine.
I don't know, y'all.
She loved it, man.
And I don't think it was like 4 cups. You feel me? It was like 50 plus and tell them to top me back off.
Let me go ahead and look at the bottle in the fridge. I gotta go check the bottle.
California red, they said.
Yes, sir, man. It's the Dachopuphourpodcast, man. Elaina, real quick, before I let you go, how do they find you?
So please, guys, you guys need to follow me. This work I do is very real. And I am on all media platforms. I have 3 published albums. I am a blog on, shout out to one time for the plug, if I can plug my blog.
How that?
Eat with a Poet. I am on YouTube, so you can find me Elainathepoet on YouTube. That's Elaina. And you can Google that. I'm the only black Elainathepoet on this side of Google. And on Instagram, I am Elainathepoet. So I keep it real simple for y'all to find me.
Tell us about Elainathepoet. Elaina, Eat with Elaina. What is that?
Eat with a Poet is my blog. It's an actual blog that I film while I eat on camera, and you guys get to, you know about the food and what I'm tasting, and I'm talking to the known, unknown gems of South Florida, which are people that I think are effectively making a difference that other people need to know about what they're doing in the world. And what we do is we talk about issues that I feel are important to the spiritual consciousness and to what is related to things that are going on today. So one of my shows was about our father's importance. how important our father is. And I had Melton Mustafa, who, shout out to him, is an amazing jazz musician. His father is the great Melton Mustafa, who played with the likes of Lou Rawls and all these amazing jazz artists who we stand on their shoulders.
You'll never find.
And then I had JTM, Josh the Man, who is a local rapper and artist here, who are both fathers. And I wanted to talk to them about the importance of being a father and dating. And what is important to you as a single father, and what you're exposing to your children, how does that weigh in?
Right.
What is the importance? So we talk about these things that are really important. I wanted to talk about full-figured women and how it relates to our self-confidence as opposed to the women that are getting their bodies made over today.
No doubt.
You understand?
No doubt.
Those things I think are important. And interracial dating. How does that affect us today and our black men? And, you know, what are your thoughts on dating a woman that is not melanated? You know, so we try to dig in, you know, and get into these issues that I feel like we need to open up the black community to be able to talk about and discuss. And you know, for me, the difference is, you know, I'm going to drop that Jesus on you.
That's what I'm talking. You don't got an issue with it outside dating, do you?
I've never dated outside of my race.
Do you have an issue with it?
I don't want to date a white man.
Okay.
I've never dated a white man, and I don't have a desire.
Well, he ain't got to be white. What about Latino,
I've never dated a
Asian?
Spanish man, because I always wondered if they lips taste different. Like, do they taste different than black lips?
Possibly, goddammit.
That's what I'm saying. It might be a little dip, and I don't know about it. You feel me? I'm scared. You know, people feel what they don't know.
Depending on his diet, I guess. Depending on what he's eating and shit, I guess that's what it is.
Oh, no.
Man, it's been a dope interview, man.
Yeah.
Elainathepoet, man. And she spoke about Lou Rawls. You never find, boom, 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 a podcast like mine.
You know.
Bum, 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 bum. Someone that needs you.
Needs you.
Oh my God. The way
we do.
Straight up, man. The Chopper Power on Fattman, Elainathepoet. Y'all tap in, like, share. Go to YouTube and hit that subscribe button, man. Yo. There it is. Man, I appreciate you.
This the Chopper Power. This the Chopper Power. This the Chopper Power. This the Chopper Power. This the Chopper